Hey friends, it's me, Alyssa, and I am back with Live in Local Atlanta. Today I'm joined by my incredible friend. He's an author, entrepreneur, philanthropist, and so much more. I'm here with my friend Salah Bachir to talk about his new book and everything going on around that. Salah, how are you?
Great, how are you? Thanks for having me.
I love it. I love it. I'm so glad you're able to join me today. Now, you have this really incredible book I want you to talk about, and you've got a lot of other amazing things you're into, like art, and you're an advocate for the LGBTQ community, and so much more. Can we first start with your book about, let me see if I got the title correct. You're the entrepreneur, but you're the first to leave the party.
First to leave the party,
Yes.
my life with ordinary people who happen to be famous.
I love it. I love it. Can you give us a little bit of a description about what the book is about?
Well, the book is actually about acceptance and about fitting in, being an immigrant, being Arab, being queer, and people who had to struggle as well, from Elizabeth Taylor, like Marlon Brando, Ella Fitzgerald with Eartha Kitt. My encounters with 54 different people and friendships and struggles for race, and when they being in the spotlight and how they fit in and how they cope. And it's a great, I think it's a great book. So,
Absolutely, absolutely. And one of the things I want to highlight is you mentioned these names so casually and so like they're not impactful people. I want to know and understand your personal experiences and kind of some of the friendships you've developed. Not everybody every day gets to meet famous people and become their friends, more or less. So, what was your experience working with just people in general who we idolize and adore?
well, I mean, they're the same as all of us. Nothing, I mean, what people don't know about some of them. I mean, like Elizabeth Taylor had broke her back 5 times, bottled skin cancer, a tumor, had osteoporosis, had both hips, had to replace both hips and was in constant pain, but she had to be out there and put herself out there. Or Ella Fitzgerald. I mean, Ella, one of the greatest singers of all time, and the racism she had to face, body image, everything else, and you know, to get up and do everything she does every day, and how some people changed. Elizabeth Taylor had a great foundation supporting people with AIDS, as does Elton John currently, and Marlon Brando with Native rights. And it's all about highlighting what people did with their celebrity and how they gave back and how they changed people's lives.
I love that. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about you. Before we even kind of got started, we're like, hey, let me know if this artwork in the back is a little too much or not. Let's talk about your art, being an art collector. Let's talk about, it seems like it's obviously a passion. Where did your love for art come from?
I don't know. I've always had a great, I think it may have been my uncle or different people in my life, but I've always had a great passion. My husband's an artist, for art and artists, and it's, people putting their life out there and creativity. And, our walls are filled, with art from floor to ceiling. And I love to walk around and look at a piece of art and, see when I first met the artist, what inspired me to get it and what it means to me today. And I think my art talks to each other. I've told people that. Some people think I'm crazy. Artists think get it, that certain things are challenging and about the human experience and survival. And I've always loved art, and it's a passion, or sometimes a compulsion, I think, or addiction, maybe even.
I can completely understand and agree with that. I find I'm the more creative partner between me and my husband, and he does not understand like my love for art or why I just adore it so much. And there are just certain things that speak to you, or you're like, oh, this would look so good or speak to this in my home. And I completely understand where you're coming from. I have to ask, who would you say, in terms of artistry, is one of your favorite artists that you admire their work?
Well, the piece behind me is by a Canadian Cree artist by the name of Kent Monkman. Kent also has two large pieces in the Metropolitan Museum in New York, in the lobby, and um, and I have great admiration for a lot of artists from all over the creative process, I like to befriend the artist, get to know them, get to see what their process was. And in the book, I talk about my relationship with Keith Haring and Warhol, among others, and my passion, meeting them in the early 80s. And I wish I would have known what, you know, when you move around, when you're young, you move around from place to place. You don't think, hey, somebody wants to give you art, you should take it. But you regret that now, of course.
I completely understand. I definitely feel like that as well. There are just certain moments you're like, you don't realize what they mean until after they've passed. And I think that's really incredible. Now, I think you and I kind of have a little bit of commonality. So, my husband is Arab, and I just love meeting people from all over the world. You hear all these different and wonderful stories. And I'd love to hear a bit of your perspective from coming from an Arab community, being here in the United States, and really what's been your experience of bringing the LGBTQ life and culture into your life, because a lot of people may not realize Arab community still is very traditional and still very not open-minded to this type of life.
I was lucky enough that my parents were very open, very the old. I didn't have the same kind of experiences that friends that were rejected. And I came up during the AIDS crisis and came out then. It was very active in the AIDS epidemic in the early 80s and still active today. And my mom said to me that I just want you to have a child who's half as nice to you as you have been to us. And yeah, I still cry about that sometimes. And it's the love that conquers everything. And the our community is like any other communities, one of love and strength and bondness. And right now, I think there's a lot of anti-Arab racism out there. So, with stuff going on in Gaza and other places.
Yeah.
And our family has Jewish members, has Christian members, has Muslim members in it, has a couple of atheists in it. But it is all about community, and people are people. And one of the things about famous people or not famous people is my grandmother always, said there was no one very important, but everybody's important. So no matter who came to the house, if somebody's begging or if somebody's not, it would be the same thing. And even when Marlon Brando came for a barbecue in the backyard, mom wouldn't serve him his good china because he never served that good china never came out for anybody. And then Ella Fitzgerald had performed, and so Jesse Norman, a couple of people, and Ella wanted my mom's kibbe. She wondered where you can get good kibbe in Toronto, and I kept taking her food from mom's, and so a lot of stuff was over food and meeting and community.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that is really such a beautiful thing. You said your grandma was saying how nobody's important, but everybody's important. I think that's such an incredible message and really so beautiful. And I think you're right. There's a lot going on around the world and around just everywhere there's a lot of eyes on what's happening in Gaza and with Palestinians. And I think it's great to hear these perspectives of where people are coming from, because it is a very messy world and we're all trying to navigate and understand what the right thing to do is and understand people in general. And you're right, it's all about community. I want to have a little fun and, throw a couple questions at you. You're a pretty worldly guy. You've got your art, you've got culture, you talked about some food. So I want to have some fun and throw some words at you and hear your response. I
Okay.
guess I'll say some questions. Some of them are just words, some of them are questions. So I have to start with, what is your absolute favorite meal of the day? You cannot skip it, even if you eat it late at night or early in the morning.
Favorite meal?
Yes.
Fruit.
You're a fruit eater. Oh, I love
I
that.
love fruit. I can eat fruit any time of the day. I mean, one of the things in the background I used to love is we were able to pick tangerines from the backyard, or figs or grapes. And my grandmother, our house in Lebanon, it was surrounded every month with different fruit, from apricots to all kinds of stuff. So fruit, I can have fruit any time of day, and that's the one thing I could never live without.
Oh, I love that. What part of Lebanon?
We're from the northern Lebanon, olive oil country. We're renowned for our olive oil, and quite a bit of the book I talked about taking olive oil to Paul Newman of all people, and Joanne Woodward, and and yeah, so North Lebanon.
Oh, that's incredible. My husband's from Sophomore, so We are planning on making a trip out there this summer, so I'm so excited about that. And again,
Oh,
so
let me
crazy.
know, let me know. I was like, hopefully I don't know if we'll be there this summer, but maybe we still have a house there. We still have family there
Yeah, that's
and
incredible. Oh, I love that. I love that. Okay, what is one thing that you would say is unexpected, but something you're completely proud of that lives in your home?
my dog.
What type of dog is it?
It's a Havanese, and he was a gift from a couple of friends. I had a dog before named after Ella Fitzgerald, Ella, and when she passed, friends had gotten a dog for her brother, and I was out for dinner one night, had a couple too many drinks, and said, "You can't get a dog for somebody else, but if it doesn't work out, we'll take him." And sure enough, a week later, we got him.
Oh, it's perfect. Kismet. Everything
Yeah.
fell in line. Now, I have to ask, what would you say is one piece of advice you would give a young person trying to find their footing in life, whether it is finding out who their identity is or they're just trying to figure out where they should be in life?
Seek community, try and be part with people that, like-minded people, get rid of anyone who's negative around you, who criticizes you, who makes you feel bad about yourself. But look for community. There's a lot of people going through similar struggles. There's a lot of people who've been very successful. Reach out to us older people. We've been there. We can help. If not, we can refer you to people. So be proud of who you are and seek out people who can help you.
I love that. I love that. Salah, how can people follow you on social media, stay in touch with you, get your book, learn more about you, and all of that?
The book is on Amazon and Barnes and Noble and everywhere. And I'm at salahbashir.com is my website, and you can reach out there. I'm on Facebook and Instagram, but not so much, but I am on once in a while.
I love it. Now, Salah, you've given so many beautiful words of wisdom. Like a true Lebanese, poetry comes out of your mouth. So I have to ask, do you have any one last piece of advice or words of wisdom you'd love to share with people?
I have a nephew who's on the spectrum, who is brilliant. And when I got my last doctorate, I was lucky enough to have 5 honorary doctorates. His line is never give up. And I think I've adopted his line. And so never, ever give up.
I love it. I love it. That is, again, another true line of inspiration and aspiration for everyone to live towards. Never give up. I think that's so incredible and so beautiful. This is Live in Local Atlanta. I'm your host, Alyssa. Make sure you download the free Odyssey app today. That's AUDACY inside the App Store. Once it's downloaded, favorite Star 94 Atlanta by hitting the heart in the top corner of your screen. And of course, if you want to stay up to date with me, you can give me a follow across all social media at itsme_Alyssa D, and I'll see you next time.